We're having a very rainy weekend, but there's a little break in the showers, and I thought it'd be a good time to come outside and repot my beautiful blood orange. This is a Sanguinello blood orange. It's a long story, and if you've seen some of my other videos, you might have noticed that I did get one last year, but after a whole year of waiting for the fruits to ripen, it turned out to be a navel orange, which is also doing very well. It's in another part of the garden. And then I got this one, which was in fruit, so I could tell it was definitely a blood orange. And it now has a few beautiful little embryo or baby blood oranges on it, a few more hidden in the foliage. It's not a very big tree, and one thing I've noticed, I've had it since March, and we are in June now, so it's 3 months I've had it. It hasn't put out much foliage at all, but it pushed out loads of beautiful flowers, as it tends to do in the spring, and that's how we got these little baby fruits. But now it's also budding up lots of new little flower buds, which maybe aren't that noticeable. There's some insect damage down here, and there's some little flowers that have fallen from our wisteria because there's a wisteria directly above it. But yeah, there is definitely some insect damage here. See this leaf here? Now I'm keeping a lookout for things like scale because they tend to like my citrus, but at the moment it's okay. Don't really know what's gotten to it there. And I also noticed that down here, something bit it, but that actually happened before I got it, and it seems to have mended and healed itself a little bit. But yes, what I want to do today is to give it some new compost down here, or to repot it. I have a slightly larger pot. Usually I let them be in their pots for quite a while, let them get really pot bound. They tend to do better then. And I think also having them in smaller pots means they have less chance of getting root rot, which is always a good thing. Look, there's some more little flower buds. I think I need to remove some of these damaged leaves and the wisteria petals. But yeah, what I find is that when you get them from warmer countries, because these ones I think are sourced in Sardinia, then I think it's Sardinia, then they can have really different kind of compost. It doesn't really work very well here. It's not very fast draining. It's probably more moisture retentive because it wants to, of course, retain the moisture, because of course they have less rain than we do here. And I find that I try to water my citrus trees. Here's my finger lime. It's got some wonderful fruits on it and beautiful flower buds. But yeah, so we get lots of rain, and I try to feed my citrus trees once every week. But like this week, I didn't even have a chance to do that because it was just raining so much. And usually I cover up the pots and then let the plants dry out in between waterings so that I can give them their food, because they really do well with a weekly feed during the summer when they're pushing out so much new growth and trying to have enough energy to produce these wonderful fruits too. These finger limes are some of my favorite fruits. They're such beautiful little caviar pearls. But I have never repotted this guy because I only had him for 3 months, and it just wasn't the right time and it wasn't the right season, and he was actually really close to fruit flowering, so I didn't want to disturb his roots. But I have noticed that when I try to water him, the water just sort of stays and does not drain quickly at all. So I think the best thing to do is to get him into a new pot with some lovely ericaceous compost. I just tend to use plain ericaceous compost, and it works completely fine. I mean, that's this guy. Repotted him like some months ago, and he is just in pure ericaceous compost, and you know, he's doing so well. He's never done better. Got so many fruits on him. Look at these lovely finger limes. Oh, they're so good. So I'll get my little pot full of ericaceous compost, and I'll try to remove as much of this soil that he came in. It doesn't look as bad or as clayey as some of the stuff I have seen, but it still was very slow draining. So let's get things together and we'll get doing, and we'll get started. So here it is. Just so you can see the size difference, it's not much of an up pot, but it should just be enough, I think, for it to do really well. I'm always a bit nervous when I have to take things out, and just hope it will do okay. But let's get it out of there now. There he is, all potted up. I think he looks much better. And I've also mixed up a batch of summer feed for him, just mixed in some water. The stuff I give them is this. Just once a week, super easy, mix it in some water, and it really does seem to keep them nice and healthy and keep those fruits on it too. It helps hold on to those fruits so they avoid fruit drop, which is always a blessing. Right behind it I've got my most favorite berry bushes, Chilean guavas, and they're just, this one here is just starting to open those first few flowers. They have this amazing scent, super floral and gorgeous. So I'll be showing that one soon. You can just see it's completely full of flowers. So exciting. And they're all actually starting to bloom now. We just need some sunshine. But yeah, I'm very happy to have repotted this guy now and be able to give him a drink now in between showers. This is my kumquat. It's the only one I've kept inside. He's got a few of the last fruits just hanging on there, and he's put out lots and lots of new growth. The reason I kept him inside is because it has actually been really, really cold and wet outside, and I've heard that kumquats need more warmth to actually flower and fruit. So I thought best keep him in the warmth, well, at least warmer than outside. And it looks to me as if he does have at least the potential of lots of little flower buds coming on. All those little bumps look quite flower buddy to me, or at least, you know, potentially. So I'll keep an eye on him. I would love to put him outside. It seems the right thing to do if we get better weather. So hopefully he can go outside at some point. But for the moment he seems quite happy. I have chucked him out in the rain a few times just to give him a really good shower. And he's the only citrus stuck in the house still. I've got two of my citrus trees hidden. I've got a lemon tree over on this side, and he's actually done really well since he came outside. He's put on a bit of new growth, and he's also got some more little lemons developing all over. Some down here too. And of course he's just in a pot, there's more growth there. So he'll stay outside until September, October. I like to bring them in earlier rather than later so they can get acclimatized to the different conditions in the house, sort of drier atmosphere and the warmth, because if it gets really cold out here before you bring them in, they tend to have like a really big leaf drop with the shock. So he's enjoying the wetness out here. I'm going to give him a bit of a feed now. You can see, even though it's raining, the soil does still actually seem really dry on the top because the water doesn't really come down. The canopy sort of gets it all. And then over here we have the citrus tree I was telling you about earlier, and this is the navel orange, and it's the one that was sold to me as a blood orange, and he actually has lots of flower buds that have been waiting, see right there in the center, waiting to bloom for ages now, for weeks and weeks, since way before I put him outside. I put him outside sort of in May, and yeah, I think it's just been so cold. We've had sort of nighttime temperatures of 3 degrees Celsius, just like right above freezing actually, and so I suppose they just stalled a bit and are just waiting for summer or at least sort of springtime temperatures. So hopefully we'll soon get some beautiful blossoms coming and get some more fruit going. But he does look very lush if you can make him out. And all these, I have all these hardy geraniums everywhere. They're very happy in this weather. But yeah, that was just a little bit about how my citrus trees are doing. I've got a few more, but they're in the other part of the garden. And it's so strange to be watering them while it's raining, but this is their weekly feed. And I think actually it's been 10 days since I last fed them, so they probably just needed a bit of a top up there. But thank you so much for watching if you stayed with me this long, and I will see you next time.